Hello, welcome back to the channel. Vintage Cube is back, and we got an interesting first pack. There's no power, but there are some pretty strong considerations. There's Underworld Breach, Stock Up, Vivi, Othari, Burst Lightning, I guess, to a lesser extent. We have the Through the Omen Paths cards, like this multiversal passage here. So this is just an unfetchable shock land, but you could pick any of the 5 colors, which is cool. So what do I want to take? Pack 1, pick 1. Honestly, well, there's also Grim Monolith and Mox Diamond. I think, well, Stock Up is a pretty strong consideration. It's just very, very good card advantage. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the Mox Diamond here to keep myself open and have some early ramp. Because, you know, the way that you win in this cube is that you play your busted 3-drops early. So I think that's a good way to go about it. Okay, so now we have some options. There's a Chrome Mox, which we can also take for more acceleration, but having Chrome Mox and Mox Diamond in the same deck sounds a little much. I think I'm going to try to be a little spicy today and take Oath of Druids. So it's probably the strongest individual card if you build around it, and it's kind of like a 1-card combo, and then you just build like a control deck, or maybe you build it with a bunch of planeswalkers, and then you have some big fatties that you cheat into play. I know that Caleb Gannon had put out some of his favorite, or what he thought were the most powerful cards, and he had Oath of Druids up there, which at first I was like, what? But, you know, you think about it more, and there are so many just powerful instants and enchantments and planeswalkers in the cube that you could easily just have a good deck, and then you just have this one building restriction of not having creatures in your deck. Essentially, I'm gonna try it, and we have the Mox Diamond, so you can play it on turn 1, which is pretty good. So now we are basically just looking for a control shell and fixing and big creatures. So I think I'm gonna take Generous Ent here because that just fits the bill the most cleanly. It's a large creature, which you're happy to hit off of Oath of Druids on like turn 3, like having a 3, turn 2 or turn 3, 5/7 reach that made of food is not bad. But then also it fixes for mana, so I assume we would want to be either green-blue or green-black or something like that. And this basically acts like a tapped dual land, because, assuming we find our lands. So I'm happy to take that. There's other considerations like Time Warp, or I guess the Xander's Lounge or the Commercial District. But yeah, I think taking the Generous Ent makes most sense here. Okay, now I can just take a Torsten. Torsten is probably one of the best cards to hit off of an Oath of Druids or something like that. And other than that, we have a Lorien Revealed for another Lord of the Rings land cycler. We have a Marsh Flats, and see, like, for example, Canker Bloom is not a card you would want in an Oath of Druids deck. So, yeah, I think there's a pretty clear Torsten here. And then hopefully we get maybe Lorien Revealed on the wheel, and we just end up in this blue-green pile. But yeah, I'm going to take the Torsten for sure. Okay. We got some new cards. So what is this? Kren. I don't really want to take the mental energy to figure out which Spider-Man card this is, but anyway, 2 mana, 1/2, 2 counters. You can transform for Naya. It's 4/3 first strike haste. It's good. It's fine. Let's see. For us, kind of like taking Grist. So we can end up being some kind of black-green mid-range deck with just Oath of Druids as a plan. And like, yes, Grist is a creature and gets hit off of Oath of Druids, but that's not bad. I mean, I think you're still happy to hit a Grist off of the top of the deck. And other than that, we have not too much. We've got Bone Shards, Urza. I'm feeling Grist. Yes? What's up? I was recording a video, but you have like 30 seconds. What's up? Okay. All right, so next pack here, probably just gonna take So there's an Elspeth, which is a pretty strong planeswalker, which goes with the strategy. But I think I'd rather take fixing first before taking, because you can find any number of big, stupid, like dumb, big, stupid, dumb planeswalker bombs. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take a Lush Portico here. There's also Coveted Jewel and Coalition Relic, but yeah, I think I like taking the Lush Portico here. Also fixes for Torsten, because sometimes you want to be able to cast this in the late game, right? And that's a consideration. So now we have a Wrath of God, which could be a good way to clear the board, make sure that, you know, you're able to resolve all of your big threats. Probably just going to take a Zagoth Triumph, though. It fixes for Grist, and also we may want to play blue. So I think we're going to set up with this pack, and then we have 4-color fixing now, so that way we can be set up for the next few packs. Okay, so there's a Prismatic Ending for removal. I think I'll just go ahead and take a Woodfall Primus. It's another really, really good card to hit off of Oath of Druids, so I like that. There's also a Liliana the Veil, and like Tameo to a lesser extent. This one really is only good when you also have the Time Walk, which we don't have, of course. I'm going to take a Woodfall Primus. So we got our fatties covered. All right, now I'm going to take a Grim Monolith, because now in a wield, which is kind of a little crazy to me, because, I mean, this is a lot of really good mana ramp. So we're able to, you know, you play this on turn 2, and then on turn 3, you can like just hard cast a Generous End, which sounds pretty powerful. There's also Multiversal Passage, which, you know, really just goes in any deck, right? But I think given where our deck is leaning, I think the Grim Monolith makes a whole lot of sense here. Okay. So now we see a Cut Down versus an Ether Spellbomb. I think I'm going to lean Cut Down, because we already have a black card that we want to cast, you know, early-ish with the Grist. So if you take the Ether Spellbomb, then your mana fixing might be a little bit spread out. So we might be just like a black-green base here. So yeah, I'm going to take the Cut Down here. Okay, we wield... Honestly, I think I'll take a Lotus Petal, because you don't want to take any of these creatures because they're terrible hits off of Oath of Druids. But Lotus Petal could help accelerate Oath of Druids on turn 1, which I think is the name of the game. And then the opponent's like not incentivized to play creatures, which is good. Okay, now we see a Portal Phyrexia, Upheaval, Yogg Will. Also, Blazemire Verge. Do I actually want Upheaval is the question. Probably not. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the Blazemire Verge in case we get some dumb red card that we want to splash. Goldspan Dragon's an okay-ish hit off of Oath of Druids. I don't know. I don't really want either of these green cards. Okay, we wield a Coveted Jewel, which is kind of interesting. Very strong card, but a little risky. Mishra's Worktop to go with it. Are we gonna... What are we doing here, you know? Okay, so we'll think about this like artifact package here in the on the side here. It could potentially come up. So now we see some options. I think I'm going to take Through the Breach, and I'm glad I took the Blazemire Verge. So this is just another way to cheat out the big, the big fatties. And specifically, the creature gets sacrificed, so it works well with Woodfall Primus and Torsten. Other than that, we have a Jetmir's Garden, which could wheel. Grave Titan is okay. Like, that's just a fine Oath of Druids target. There's also Manamorphose, which could help with fixing. Let's see. You have, Noble Hierarch and Sylvan Caryatid, which normally in your green-based decks, you want some amount of mana dorks. But, of course, in this deck, the Oath of Druids, you're a little limited in that sense. I'm going to just take Through the Breach for the upside. Okay, so we have our fatties over here. All right. Now we see some cards. So probably just going to take Overgrown Tomb for, black-green dual land, which is nice. There's also Nissa Who Shakes the World, which is a pretty good planeswalker. And Blightsteel Colossus is a fine hit off of Oath of Druids. Like, it does kill them. But the problem with Blightsteel Colossus is all the opponent has to do is put 2 toughness in front of this thing, and then they don't die. and then they could potentially kill you on the crackback. So that is something to consider. If it wheels, great. If not, that's totally fine. Quantum Riddler, just absolute menace in every constructed format right now. What a crazy card. And it's abusable with a 4/6 body. You can ephemerate it or splash portal or whatever. Great card. Look at how massive this thing is too. Look at that tiny little spaceship in the little warp portal versus this giant sphinx that's just staring at you. Crazy. Anyway, I'm going to take Overgrown Tomb. Okay, now we see Pest Infestation, I think, makes the most sense here. There's also Natural Order and Ice Steel Explorer. Natural Order if you're going more the traditional green mana dork dot deck, and then you on turn 2 or 3, you Natural Order into a Torsten, which is like pretty strong, but not really what we are doing here. I mean, you could technically Natural Order with like a insect token, but that doesn't sound very good. Pest Infestation, just the most generically strong card, and it blows up artifacts and enchantments at a really good rate and gives you a ton of bodies to protect yourself, which, yes, is not great with Oath of Druids, but I mean, you can't have it all, okay? All right, Ice Steel Explorer, a really strong card as well, allows you to ramp pretty easily, especially if you have some fetch lands. We don't have any fetch lands, but that's okay. There's also Overlord of the Baelmerk, which is a consideration. I'm just going to take the Pest Infestation, though. Okay, now we see there's Endurance, which is not the best hit off of Oath of Druids, but it is just a nice value card. There's a Yavimaya. Toxic Deluge, it's probably necessary to survive the early turns. And you can ramp it out. If the opponent has an aggressive like energy start or something like that, then you're able to just reset the board for a few life, and that's big game. So I think I'm going to take the Toxic Delusion. We also passed on the Wrath of God earlier, so this is kind of an important effect to have. Perhaps we can wheel the Sheltering Landscape or the Thornspire Verge for some fixing for Through the Breach. But yeah, I'm going to take the Deluge here. Okay, so now what do we see? We see a Phyrexian Metamorph, which probably not what we're going to be taking. There's a Mind Twist. We do have a little bit of a ramp package, so this could be a thing. Other than that, I mean, Elvish Reclaimer, again, you don't want to take any cheap creatures. With Oath of Druids, you just want all gas all the time. You have Bolas's Citadel, which sounds very bad in this kind of style of deck because you don't want to be paying 8 life for your Woodfall Primus. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the Mind Twist. Maybe we get some more cheap acceleration. We got Nadu and Springheart Nantuko in the same pack. Nadu is just a generically good card, and honestly one I'm not completely unhappy to Oath of Druids into. There is also just a Mortuary for more black-green fixing, which I think is becoming increasingly more important with all these black cards that we're adding to the deck. So I could just take that. There's also Karn, which is a solid Planeswalker, Fatal Push, good removal spell, and a Remand. Not so much Remand, I guess. So it's really between like Nadu, Karn, Fatal Push, and like the Mortuary. I guess also the Indatha Triome, but the white is not super important. You're not going to hardcast Torsten that often. I was going to take the Surveil Land. The Surveil Lands are good value. Okay, so now we have the choice between a Infernal Grasp. There's also a Leyline Binding, which we only have the one piece of white fixing, so I'm not super sold on that. And we also don't have an actual like mountain in the deck. So Leyline Binding is at best going to be a hard to cast 2 mana flash kill spell, whereas Infernal Grasp is like a easier to cast 2 mana flash kill spell. So I do like that. There's also an Ulvenwald Oddity, but yeah, I'm just going to take the Infernal Grasp. Oh, look, an Emrakul. That sounds pretty good to Oath of Druids into. Yeah, I'm down for that. There's also a Shifting Woodland and a Sparus Headquarters. So Shifting Woodland can be good if you somehow get one of your fatties milled, right? And then you can just turn your Shifting Woodland into a creature and smack your opponent with it. Or if your Oath of Druids gets milled, You can turn it into that. Does that work? Each player's upkeep. Oh, never mind. The timing doesn't work on that one. But anyway, Emrakul is great. And they added the End Stone. That's a pretty cool one. But I think we're a little bit less rampy and more cheat out fatties. So yeah, we'll take Emrakul here. Another big fatty to cheat out with our spells. Okay. So we wield Great Titan, Jetmir's Garden, and Sylvan Caryatid. We're not taking Sylvan Caryatid or Noble Hierarch, right? I think we just take a Jetmir's Garden. It helps solidify the mana base for Through the Breach. And then, look, we get like any green fetch land at this point, and our mana is very, very good. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and take the Jetmir's Garden. We have a lot of tap lands, though, so we're going to have to circumvent that. Let's just take Nissa here, I think. Nissa seems great. A good, like, backup mid-range plan. And for all the reasons I said earlier, I'm not actually that interested in Blightsteel Colossus as an Oath of Druids target because, again, they're able to just out it so easily. They play like one exile removal and you're just like cooked. So I think I'm just going to take the Nissa. I do also like the Proving Ground, but we're good on fixing. So I think we're just going to take Nissa here. Okay, we wield Overlord of the Baelmerk, Bleachbone Verge, and Natural Order. I think we take Overlord here as another good card to hit off of Oath of Druids and allows you to get card advantage. All right, we wield Urtai and Thornspire Verge. I guess we take the Thornspire Verge. Our red fixing's okay. Yeah, I guess we just take it. I'm not sure Urtai Resurrected is a super strong enough card, so I think we just go ahead and take more fixing. This pack is not very good for us. Okay, Endotha Triome as another Triome, which we already have so many tap lands. I guess I take it. I'm not really interested in the City of Traders. Okay, Razorverge Thicket's kind of, sort of free. Again, the white fixing is not as important since you don't really want to hardcast your Torsten, but yeah, anyway. Okay, what do we have in this pack? We have a very good Oath of Druids target with the Vaultborn Tyrant. This is a really good way to get back into the game. You gain life, draw cards, and then it dies, and it comes back, and then it does it all again. You play your other fatties, and it's just this, you get this insurmountable advantage, so I'm kind of leaning towards that. There's also an Underground Sea and a Savannah. Caracas is a good way to stay alive. There's Mana Confluence, Green Sun, Zenith. Not so good. I mean, you can get Grist with it, which is cool, but it doesn't seem great in this style of deck. Honestly, Vaultborn Tyrant does seem like the pick here. White of the Reliquary, again, not a card you really want to hit off of Oath of Druids. So I think we take Vaultborn Tyrant, and now we're good on fatties. I think we have a good amount. So now I'm going to prioritize having more interaction in the early game. So let's see. There's a Shallow Grave. So that could be another way that we cheat stuff out. I'm not opposed to that. How are we discarding cards, though, is the question. And I think the answer is we're not really doing that. So I could just take a Stomping Ground to, again, make the Through the Breach as free as possible, because you really want to be able to cast your Through the Breach when you have the mana available, right? Other than that, we have a Born Oculus, a Tropical Island, but we don't really actually have blue in the deck, so that's not as necessary. Retrofitter Foundry. I think we just take the Stomping Ground, to be honest. Okay. Now we get a Force of Vigor. There's an Archon of Cruelty, which I know I said we didn't need the fatties, but I mean, it's really, really good card to hit off of, all of these effects. Let's see. We also have Beseiju. Beseiju's a nice value land, I suppose. We also have a Hull Breacher. Hull Breacher's just kind of broken, but not really for us. We do have a Thespian Stage if we find Dark Depths, but a little bit more niche. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take I think the Archon's a little too good. And of course we find the World Spine Worm. All right, I don't think we really need to, bother with this one too much. I think now we can probably just either take like a Hymn to Turok or a Bayou. and just have like really, really good black-green fixing. I think that might be where we want to go here. We could probably wheel World Spine Worm, actually. We definitely need a little bit more interaction. Hymn to Turok does kind of count as interaction. How are we doing on black-green fixing? We have an Overgrown Tomb, we have an Underground Mortuary, we have a Zagoth Triome. It's okay. Really, the Bayou would tie the room together. But Hymn to Turok could be something that we want. We could have a hand attack strategy with the Mind Twist. I'm just going to take the Bayou. Our black-green is very important here. Okay, so now we see Shieldred. Shieldred actually probably exactly what we need, because it's not a bad hit off of Oath of Druids. Fits the curve nicely where we're kind of missing out, and helps us bridge the gap, assuming we don't have a nuts start of like Oath of Druids or Through the Breach with Grim Monolith or something. Then with this, we are able to actually help. It helps to survive because it gains life and then protects our life points. And then, yeah, we should be okay here. Bloodstained Mire will be excellent because we have so many, dual lands that this just finds in all of our triomes. But yeah, I'm going to take a shoulder here for sure. There's also a Tali. I did see it. Okay, I think Dismember seems really good for us right now. We just need a cheap spell that interacts with the opponent. And Dismember does that beautifully. And we're in black, so in the late game, we should be able to just pay it full cost and not have to spend 4 life. But on turn 1, you're happy to spend 4 life to kill a Guide of Souls or something. And then there's also an Animate Dead, which that doesn't appear to be the direction that we're going. Although with the Grist, you're milling cards. But yeah, I think Dismember is more so what this deck wants. So we're going to go ahead and take that. Okay. There's, honestly, Field of the Dead is looking kind of interesting because we have so many different types of lands. Like this could just be an alternate win condition. We also have a Harvester of Misery, though, which also fits the bill of... It's probably going to be like a sideboard card, but a way to deal with the cheap creatures. And it's also not the worst Oath of Druids hit, although it's not the best. It might just be Field of the Dead, to be honest. I'm going to cut these. We definitely need some more playables. I think Field of the Dead is kind of interesting because we have so many different types of lands. Okay, now we got some interesting considerations. So there's a Mana Vault, a Channel. Okay, I guess those are the considerations. So what gives us more consistent mana? I mean, we have Channel Emrakul, right? I mean, that's got to be enough reason to take the Channel. This card is very explosive, and it increases our quote-unquote nut draws. And, on turn 1, it's possible. You can go like Mox Diamond, Lotus Petal, and then Channel, Mind Twist their hand away, for example. So, yeah, I think Channel just opens up the most explosive plays. All right, as expected, nothing really wheeled. I think I just take a Savannah because it's free, and anything to make Field of the Dead a little bit better. And I really do not want to play this Razorverge Thicket, for example. So I think that is going to fit nicely. You could also take a Mind Stone, which is kind of interesting. Probably just a Savannah, though. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to take the Mind Stone. Mind Stone for ramp into a Mind Twist seems good. Okay, I'll take a Tropical Island. Again, we're not doing the blue splash thing, but again, Field of the Dead. And that's basically the consideration. And it doesn't hurt our mana base at all. There's a Thespian Stage. You could Thespian Stage copy Field of the Dead, which is kind of cool. Probably gonna actually we have a decent amount of white fixing. I'd probably take this Wings of Abandon. It could be like another copy of a board wipe. So I like that. There's a Battle Ball, Temple Garden, Watery Grave. I don't think I need the Battle Ball. I think I just take Hymn to Turok. Or we take the Temple Garden, which helps with the Wings of Abandon. I think Hymn to Turok makes a little bit more sense. Okay, we got a Basalt Monolith, Sunbaked Canyon, and Unruly Crassus. I think we take Basalt Monolith. It seems like we can ramp, like an alternative strategy is we just ramp into these big fatties. Mightstone and Weakstone also kind of helps out to kill things. Last Pick Harvester of Misery is not bad either. All right, we have a deck. Is it good? I think so. It's kind of interesting. So let's get this down. So we don't need to play 17 lands for sure because we have probably 16 lands because we have the Lotus Petal, we have the Mox Diamond. So right now we have 3, so 14 lands. A Generous Ent counts as a land. We have the Mind Stone, we have the Might Stone and Weak Stone. So I guess the question is, what do we here? Let's fix the curve right here. So we have all of our fatties over here. And then we have big ramp target with Mind Twist and Pest Infestation. Okay, so how are we trimming this? Do I actually need Mind Stone? I don't really think I do, to be honest. I mean, it does help us go from like 2 to 4. Well, going from 2 to 4 is not that important. Although I guess if you have a Lotus Petal or a Mox Diamond, helps you go from like 2 to 5 with the Through the Breach. And then you can have your fast Through the Breach lines, which is pretty cool. Let's see. I think Basalt Monolith kind of does the same thing. So I guess we can just go ahead and cut that, the Mind Stone. The Basalt Monolith helps us bridge the gap to the fatties, because in this deck, it looks like we'll actually be able to hardcast our fatties a little bit more often. It's just in early Oath of Druids or Through the Breaches, obviously, the best. Wait, where's Emrakul? Oh, there you are. All right. Cool. So this is not too bad because, I mean, yes, there's a lot of top end, but also this Overlord could be a 2-drop, for example. And I don't know, you just want, these are like the best, like these are probably like the 5 best hits off of, either Through the Breach or Oath of Druid. So I'm not unhappy to see this. Okay. So if we do this, we have 15 lands, Generous Ent, Mox Diamond, and Lotus Petal. I think I can cut Lotus Petal for another land just to make Mox Diamond a little better, I think. Lotus Petal it's nice to have that quick burst of mana, so you could play like an Oath of Druids or a Channel on turn 1 or something like that. It does open up those lines. You also have to think about the times where you draw Lotus Petal and it's like a treasure token, and it's really bad. You could also cut the Might Stone and Weak Stone. I don't hate that, but it is card advantage. All right, so I guess the real question is how are we going about this? I could cut like a cut down, for example, and bring it in against cheap, aggressive creature-based strategies, and we can do some like tinkering with the mana base. Actually, I actually don't hate that, because if we play against any fair mid-range deck, the cut down's probably not going to do too much. I don't know. I take that back, because even like your mid-range decks, like your red-based mid-range decks, play stuff like Gut and Broadside Bombardiers, which cut down answers for single mana, which is pretty important, I think, to have in the main deck. I still feel comfortable with one more cut, 16 lands, to go along with our Mox Diamond. Or am I just being a coward and I don't need that? That's really the question. I just don't want the Mox Diamond to be dead is the problem. Okay, I'm going to keep the Mind Twist. All these other cards are really good. I keep coming back to the Lotus Petal. So it's either like Lotus Petal, maybe Might Stone and Weak Stone. What other card advantage do we have? Not much, but I guess that's not that important. All right, we could cut the Might Stone and Weak Stone. Maybe bring it in against like a control-based deck or something like that. And then we just play lands. So how's this look? All right, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have plenty of green. And then for black, we have 2, 3-ish, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, seems good. All right, I think we can just go ahead and run it like this. And you know, you don't need red. We have plenty of red, and white is not super important, like I've been mentioning. This seems good. Oh, I even have room for one more? Huh, I don't know why it did that. Let's just add another forest and call it a day. I think we want to add another forest. I think it's important to have the channel up. Okay. Yeah, this deck looks pretty sweet. Yeah, it looks like it has some pretty explosive potential. See you for the games. All right, we're here for round 1 against D Stern, and our hand is pretty bad, so I think we can go ahead and mull. Okay, this has channel. So I think we keep this, and I just put back a swamp. The problem is our hand has very green, intense, pipped cards, so really we have to wait until turn 4 to channel. All right, opponent plays swamp. No Thoughtseize, though. Okay, generous end off the top. Let's go Underground Mortuary. Anything we can do to accelerate channel into Vaultborn Tyrant would be pretty good. Oh, look, an Oath of Druids. I'm going to put that right on top of the deck. Excellent, perfect. So now we're going to play this weird game where my opponent is not going to play any creatures, hopefully. Or if they play a 2-drop right now, that's great. Perfect. Dothy Voidwalker. Although now we're running into a little bit of issues with Oath of Druids specifically putting cards into the graveyard, which then the Dothy Voidwalker could potentially cast. It's not going to be a creature, but still, it's not the best. But I mean, obviously we go for it because we could just hit an Emrakul and then it's just like game over, right? I do want to use the ability. And I get a Shieldred, which is fine. It's fine. What has entered the exile zone? So now my opponent is able to cast a Hymn to Turok or a Dismember, which is really unfortunate that they hit the Dismember because now they can answer my Shieldred. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and gain a couple life. We could go for channel plus generous end, but I'd rather just get down an Archon of Cruelty next turn. So I think here we're just going to go generous end for a forest, and then next turn we'll go channel, and we can either go Vaultborn Tyrant or Archon of Cruelty. And also, if my opponent spends their entire turn dismembering my Shieldred, I'm like super happy about that. Feels like we're in a pretty good position. If I go the channel Archon route, yes, they get an Oath of Druids trigger, but I don't think that's really that big of a deal. Like, I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot here. Okay, so yeah, so they're just going to go Dothy Voidwalker, cast Dismember, which is awesome. Like, this is really, really good for me. Yep. And they have to do it, because otherwise this Shield is probably going to take over the game. All right, and they're going to, unearth the Dothy Voidwalker. Well, I will Forest Cycle in response, so that way they don't have access to this. And I'll just go ahead and grab the Stomping Ground here. Okay, you have a Dothy. Congratulations. But now I get another Oath trigger. I don't know. This feels really not great for my opponent here. Okay, and Oath. Yes. And we get a... Oh, look, an Emrakul. Nice. All right. So that's good. That's very good. And they concede. All right. Oath of Druids doing Oath of Druids things. Perfect. All right, so we're playing against some sort of black, like, hand attack sort of strategy with the Dothy Voidwalker, I assume? Although we didn't see any... What's it called? We didn't see a Thoughtseize. There was a Hymn to Turok, I believe. So, or was there? I thought I saw a Hymn to Turok. I don't know. But anyway, so Harvester of Misery could be a good way to answer the Dothy Voidwalker. But I don't know how many cheap creatures they have. Also, this deck is very hard to view in this thing because the curve, geez, goes so high. Okay, there we go. All right, now the question is, do I want to bring in like Mightstone and Weakstone to draw cards to make up for the card disadvantage, or bring in the Harvester of Misery? I think the real question is just like the Harvester of Misery, because I only saw the Dothy Voidwalker, which is fine against me. I think the problem is if they go like Dothy and then they Thoughtseize me and they take like an Archon of Cruelty and then they cast my Archon of Cruelty. That's pretty bad. So I don't like that. So that's why I do like bringing in the Harvester of Misery potentially. We have a Dismember, we have a Cut Down, we have a Deluge, we have Infernal Grasp, so we already have quite a bit of ways, and I don't know how many other cheap creatures they have. Like, their deck is not an aggro deck. So yeah, I think I'm just going to run it back. I think I'm going to run it back, and we're going to go from there. If they played like 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, then it's like, okay, hold on a second. All right, so we have a pretty good hand. I think we keep this. And we're 1 land away from going like Channel Through the Breach. Okay, opponent starts with a Blazemire Verge. We're just going to go ahead and start with a Overgrown Tomb. So we're missing out on land number 3 here, but that's okay. We have Infernal Grasp to help keep us alive. Okay, Bloodtithe Harvester is fine. Not a big deal. I can always kill it. Or not. I don't have to kill it. Okay, so we really just hoping for a land next turn so I can go channel Volporn Tyrant. Another line I could do is I could just play Grist, or I could just Toxic Deluge if the board's getting crazy. So there's a lot of options here. Okay, Urza's Bauble is fine. They're going to look at Infernal Grasp. Okay, so that might disincentivize them from playing another creature at least. And, okay, so this Bloodtithe Harvester is going to smack me in the face. So, hoping for any untapped land next turn. Any untapped land... Oh, that's not true. It has to be green, right? But most of our... I think all of our untapped lands are green, right? That's the kind of the point. Do I want to Infernal Grasp this Bloodtithe Harvester? I don't think I need to do that. Okay, they're going to draw an additional card. I will draw land. That is not a land, but it is a 2-drop that I can play. So I think we just go ahead and do that. This also, if this hits a generous end, then that's technically a mana source, albeit a slow one. Oh, well, there's Emrakul. I will get it in hand, though. All right, so now we have to pitch a card. It could just be the Shieldred. Yeah, it's probably Shieldred. Because I think I'm going to need this Infernal Grasp and Toxic Deluge to stay alive. We are one land away from, like, Channel Through the Breach. Lurrus. Okay, I'm glad I kept that Toxic Deluge. Okay, they just recast a Bauble. They revealed a Toxic Deluge in hand. Okay. I really, really need a land here. Pest Infestation. All right. I think I'm just not going to screw around anymore. I think I got to Infernal Grasp this Lurrus right away. All right. So, not looking great. But we do have this Overlord, which is coming down in a few turns. Strip Mine. Oh, that's really bad. Uh-oh. Yeah, that'll probably do it. Then they just played an Inti, so now they're pressuring my life total. Yeah, I really just needed another mana source. And then we were okay. So, I don't know. They should do it right now. Yeah. Okay, we're not, like, completely... Yeah, okay. All right, never mind. That'll do it. So I did not hit land 3. Very sad. Okay. Go to sideboarding. All right. So let's see. They have a lot more cheap creatures than I thought. So I think I will bring in the Harvester, and I'll take out a Hymnaturok, perhaps. Like, it seems like they play out their hand very quickly. Mind Twist can still be okay. Yeah, let's just go ahead and go with this. More of a black-red aggressive deck. Okay, so this hand has no combos, but it does have a Harvester of Misery to answer things. It has a Pest Infestation, and then a Mind Twist, which could potentially... I don't know. I feel like our deck is capable of a lot better than this, to be honest. Yeah, I'm probably going to go to 5. This hand just doesn't do anything. There's an Oath of Druids. Turn 1 Oath of Druids. Or turn 1. Okay, keep. We'll put back Field of the Dead and I think I want to Surveil on turn 1. Do I want to Surveil on turn 1? No, I don't want to play this cut down early. So yeah, I think I do want to Surveil on turn 1. So I think I just put back a Swamp. Okay. Good luck, opponent. All right. Mortuary to start. Emrakul. That's unfortunate because I really want to hit that off of Oath of Druids. I don't want to draw this, so I'm going to put it into my graveyard. And it just gets shuffled back. Who knows? It could have shuffled on top. It's possible. Okay. Hopefully no Thoughtseize. Okay. Well, here goes nothing. We are just going to play Oath of Druids. And that's it. And that's our game plan. Now the opponent... Now we enter this kind of weird situation where my opponent's not incentivized to play any creatures, which is helpful for me. Okay, there's an Archon. We will play this tapped. Okay, so now the game plan is work my way up to 8 mana and cast an Archon. Inquisition of Kozilek. All right, you see Dismember and Cut Down as options. They take the Dismember. That makes sense. All right. Honestly, mana's good. Take mana. Bam. All right. You know what? Honestly, good draw. any land's a good draw here. Because we just basically need to go land go against our opponent. It's very unlikely we draw 4 lands in a row, though. So that's unfortunate. Okay, what do we got? 4 mana. We are casting a Shieldred. Honestly, fine. Because I have way better hits. On average. Okay. Okay, come on, Oath of Druids. Give me something good. Overlord? Okay, that's pretty good. And I could potentially hit something else. Okay, Generous End, perfect. Yes. I will get that. I hit a Grist. Oh, that's really nice. So, okay. I don't really want to play this. I could like Grist, downtick, kill Shieldred, and then incentivize them to, you know, continue to play things. I think I'm always... Okay, hold on. I'm always cycling this Generous End. So let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. We can just go ahead and get this Overgrown to... Well, let's get a Bayou, actually. We'll get a Bayou. That way we can hold up our Cut Down. We'll Grist. But then maybe I just don't uptick it or downtick it. Like I just let this stick around. I could continuously Overlord to get back my Generous End. Yeah, the Grist Oath of Druids is very awkward because if I uptick, then they get an Oath of Druids trigger, which I am not the biggest fan of. But most of their deck is pretty cheap, and I could probably just kill it with a Cut Down. And then I can downtick Grist. I think actually I'm gonna uptick. It's a little risky. Okay, I hit my own Shieldred. Okay, so they get a free creature off of Oath of Druids, and that's a little rough. Okay, so they get Oath of Druids, and what do they hit? It can't be that bad, right? There's no way it's that bad. My opponent also knows about these cards. Kitesail Freebooter. Well, we're just gonna cut it down rather. Okay. Now what will my opponent do? Orcish Bowmasters. Huh. That's weird. Why would they do that? Okay. Wheel of Oh my god. Okay. Well, we lost. That's wow. Okay. Whew. Yeah, that is 14 plus 7. That's 21 damage. Nice. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Did not see that coming. Did not see that coming. All right, on to the next. All right, we're here against E Riot Rides. We'll go first. And our hand has no way to get the fatties onto the table. So I think we can do... I mean, it does have Infernal Grasp into Grist, I guess. But I think our deck is just capable of so many better things. Okay, there's a channel. So on turn 3, I could pump 19 life into this Pest Infestation. It might just be crazy enough to work. I am not that inclined to believe this will work, but I'm willing to give it a chance. We'll tell our opponent good luck, have fun. Okay, we'll start off with Stomping Ground tapped. Then next turn we could, or Stomping Ground, Overgrown Tomb tapped. Then on the next turn, oh, Mox Diamond. I mean, like, look, we didn't come here to not do this, right? So we'll play out the Verge. Yeah, it taps for green. Play this. Mox Diamond. And I'll probably just pump 19 life into this Pest Infestation. And then that's our plan. It's a good plan. Okay, let's cast a channel. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we just go all the way. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 18. It has to be an even number. Yeah, okay, so it has to be even number. All right. And then we have this as x equals 9. All right. And Pest Infestation for 9. Do you have a Spell Pierce or Daze? Nice. Okay, I have made 18 little guys. They're very little. Now my opponent will not play Mountain Lightning Bolt. Okay, they conceded. Nice. All right. So, the deck is capable of some broken stuff like that. My opponent played Basic Island and no other cards. I think I just run it back. I don't know what I'm facing against. I assume not a burn deck because it was very possible that my opponent would have just played like Mountain and a Shock, right? And then I just die. So it doesn't seem like that's the case. So probably just some sort of blue control or mid-range deck. And, obviously we could have gotten got by a Daze. Well, no, we couldn't have gotten got by Daze because we just add one more mana with the channel. But we could have gotten got with the Spell Pierce for sure. So maybe that was reason to only do it for X's 8 because then you're playing around Spell Pierce as well. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Okay, this hand is pretty bad. This hand is pretty good. So we'll go ahead and keep this. So again, I don't really know what my opponent is doing. I think I'm just going to get rid of Grist. And then now we have this the dual strategy of Oath of Druids and then holding up Dismember for something weird. And then we also have Through the Breach once we hit 5 mana. Okay, we'll put Shieldred into the graveyard, I think. We basically just need to find more lands. Next turn, we're going to slam Oath of Druids on the table. Okay, my opponent played Basic Island last turn. Now they're going Godless Shrine plus Savai Triome. Oh, there's a Grim Monolith. That's a Grim Monolith. I don't think I need to play that right now. We don't have the red land in hand even to go Through the Breach Emrakul. So I think we're just going to go Oath of Druids. And then this will disincentivize them from playing creatures, which buys me more time to find my red land and kill my opponent with an Emrakul. That sounds like fun. Let's do that. Oh, okay, so there's some sort of artifact deck with manifold key, so they must have something like a Grim Monolith or something of that nature. Okay, Overgrown Tomb. So, honestly, no reason not to just play a tap land and pass. Actually, I guess I could play the Grim Monolith right now. I don't think it hurts too much. Because if we find the red land next turn, you could go like red land, Grim Monolith through the breach, but maybe I'll just scare my opponent into thinking that I have something really scary top end that I'm going to play next turn, and then they're incentivized to add to the board. Uses up my mana now in case I draw more things later. They could blow up my Grim Monolith. That's not really that big of a deal. Okay, opponent goes Chrome Mox. Put a Saheeli under there. All right, what do we got? Something scary? Could be infinite combos. Nope. Jace. All right, that's pretty good. So now they just get to brainstorm a bunch. Or they can... Yep. All right. See, but they don't know I need a red land. Right? That's the thing. Okay, so they put the card on the bottom. Okay, Infernal Grasp. I cannot destroy Jace. We are short a red land here. This is unfortunate. And then what does this do? Exile all cards from target player's library, then they shuffle their hand. Yeah. Jeez, I might get Jace Ultimate here. I don't think I've ever seen Jace Ultimate in my entire life. How exciting. So yeah, they just keep fate sealing me. Yeah, and then I don't really have an answer for this. Through the breach, please. I might have to through the breach and attack Jace because now they have way too many permanents. Yeah, that's a little rough. All right, big draw. Tropical Island. Okay. We are 7 lands away from hard casting an Emrakul, so I think we'll get there, obviously. Okay, I assume we just have another Jace up. Like, my opponent just does not need to do anything else besides this. I don't really have ways to kill planeswalkers. Okay, what's my opponent doing now? Coveted Jewel. Okay. It's not good. So they draw 3 cards. All right. Now what? Another island. Well, now if I draw the red land, I can Emrakul, get the Coveted Jewel, draw 3 cards. So that could be good. We really need a red source. There's only like, what, 2 or 3 in the deck? Come on, red source. Ooh, red source. Let's go. Nice. Awesome. All right, I think we just got to do it. You just got to do it to him. All right, through the breach. Through the breach Emrakul. And then I honestly kind of want to attack Jace, but I think it's more... Yeah, I just got to attack the... Oh, they're going to sack the Coveted Jewel to the Emrakul trigger. I see. Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay. So I actually think... Okay, so they're definitely going to sack this Coveted Jewel to the trigger because that's before blocks. So I think I still actually have to attack Jace here. So now they just sack Jace, right? Which is... Yeah, they're going to sack Jace. But, I mean, they do have to give up 5 other permanents. I think this is actually not even that bad for my opponent. Oh, they're getting rid of Coveted Jewel, too. Right? This has to attack you and aren't blocked. Yeah. So I wouldn't actually get the Coveted Jewel, but kind of smart of my opponent to untap, or sorry, to sacrifice their Coveted Jewel. Okay, so that obviously sets them back. Now Emrakul goes back into the deck. So we're kind of back where we started, but now I have way more resources than my opponent. So I can definitely hardcast Fatties if I draw them. Okay, that's a Surveil land, which helps. And we see, oh look, a Fatty. I'm going to keep that on top of the deck. All right. So next turn we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could just hard cast a Vaultborn Tyrant. 2, 3. We'll just do it like this. Okay, Vaultborn Tyrant. Okay, we get a land. All right. My opponent gets an Oath of Druids trigger, but I imagine their hits are way less problematic than my hits are. Oh, this is very interesting. I have to put this trigger on the stack. What a interesting card Oath of Druids is. But anyway, so Oath of Druids, they're gonna get something cool, something exciting. What could it be? Did they not do it? I guess they chose not to do it. Weird. Does their deck not have that many creatures? Not sure. Maybe they misclicked or something. The Oath of Druids it's a weird templating for sure. Baleful Mastery to exile the Vaultborn Tyrant. You know what? That's probably a mistake on my end. I probably should have thought about some sort of exile removal, because now I can't kill my Vaultborn Tyrant in response because I didn't use Grim Monolith to tap it for mana. I could have Infernal Grasped the Vaultborn Tyrant, and then I could have gotten the copy back. Yeah, so unfortunate misstep there. Did not think about using Infernal Grasp defensively like that. Oh, look, Emrakul. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're only 4 mana sources away from hard casting an Emrakul, so it's not that far-fetched. And we have, I guess Grim Monolith is our only fast mana. So, I don't know. We'll see. I guess lands are good, spells are good, sort of a thing. Shorakai. Yeah, that's pretty good. And they're probably just going to wait to use that so I don't get an Oath of Druids trigger. All right. And draw step. Okay. Another mana source. Another mana source is pretty good. So now I imagine the opponent's going to go Shorakai to draw a couple cards. But that gives them a body, which allows my Oath of Druids to do Oath of Druids things. So I'm not unhappy with this whatsoever. If they can answer my Oath of Druids, then it gets kind of bad. But I have a lot of good top decks too. Psychic Frog. Probably just kill that, to be honest. That's a very annoying card. I could wait to see what I hit off of Oath of Druids, I suppose. Okay, they're just going to draw more cards. They might as well, right? Okay, Mox Jet. They have a ton of mana, a ton of resources. Okay, they're hitting me. This could be... Yep, all right. I think I'll just go ahead and answer this frog right away. Okay, and go to my turn. We get an Oath of Druids trigger. Let's see what we hit. Yes. We hit a Grist, which is probably not the best hit. However, we did get Channel Emrakul, so I like that too. Okay, let's go for Channel. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. How much mana do we have? We have 3, 4, 5. I want to keep 1 mana up. 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is currently 8, 5, 13, 14, 15. All right, Hardcast Emrakul. I will take an extra turn. It also can't be countered. I will uptick Grist. I will go to my turn. I guess I didn't need to do that. Okay. Now we go to combat and we smack them with our creatures. Now I just have an active Emrakul that does not go away end of turn. Let's see if they can, finagle a win or something. All right. Opponent goes to 4. And then, I guess I'll just continue to uptick Grist. And I'll pass a turn. Okay. My opponent does get another Oath of Druids trigger, but they didn't use the Oath of Druids trigger last turn, so I'm not sure what happened there. Are they doing it? They're just not doing it. I don't really understand what is happening there. All right, let's see if they have an answer. Could be Wrath of God. Palace Jailer. That's pretty good. Okay. Well, luckily I have the Dismember. Yep. Palace Jailer does in fact get the Emrakul. I think I'll go ahead and dismember this. All right. And they draw a card, but now I get the Monarchy. There's a Woodfall Primus, so I could take care of their Shorikai. I'll just go ahead and attack. I get my Emrakul back. I get the Monarchy. Feeling good. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cast. Blow up your Shorikai. And then I have 0 creatures in the graveyard for Grist. Yeah, okay. I'll just go ahead and uptick. And I draw a card. There's a Torsten, which I'm able to cast next turn as well. So I'm not really sure what my opponent can do to get out of this. Even if they play like a Wrath of God or something, I can just ultimate Grist and then they'll lose as well. My opponent has a Tamiyo for free. Good job. With the Druids, definitely a completely fair and balanced Magic the Gathering card. Does my opponent have an out here? Consult the star charts. That's probably a good sign for me. They get 4 looks deep at some kind of answer for my board state. Good old classic Oath of Druids, Emrakul. I think that's it. Nice. All right. On to the final round. All right, we're playing against Dillonk for our last match. And yeah, we'll go first. And our hand looks kind of busted, so we'll go ahead and keep. And we can go... We don't have black mana, but we can always find it. Okay, Lesh Portico. And we find... Oh, look, black mana. Yeah, let's go ahead and keep that. And then hopefully my opponent plays like a 1-drop creature. And then I'm able to go Oath of Druids. And then we're looking pretty cool. Again, the old Oath of Druids Grist non-bow. It's not great. Okay, my opponent plays a tapped Celestial Colonnade. All right, well, they can't daze. Okay, I'm just going to slam it. Alternatively, I could have played Underground Mortuary first to try to set this up, but I think this creates a very interesting dynamic in the game, and it's very, very awkward for my opponent, right? So I'm okay putting this on the table right now. Okay, opponent's in some sort of Esper shell. Like what are you gonna do? You gonna play a frog or something? I think I can beat that. Yep, they just passed the turn. Okay, I'm just going to Underground Mortuary. And then we see... What? Land. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I actually keep this on top. And then I cast a Grim Monolith. Because, not next turn, but the following turn, we can just hard cast an Archon of Cruelty, which I imagine is going to be a lot better than anything that they can put in from their deck off of the Oath of Druids. Okay, is this going to be Deep Cavern Bat? Sure. That's fine. I mean, now I just get a free Oath of Druids trigger, which I'm totally okay with. And then my opponent is, I think they're incentivized to take Archon of Cruelty. Oh, they took Grist. All right, that's kind of a weird choice, but my opponent is free to make it. All right, let's spin the wheel and see what we hit. Yes. Okay, there's a Woodfall Primus. Okay, any order. All right, Woodfall Primus will blow up your Colonnade. And that, yep, that is enough to get a concession out of the opponent. All right, so now we go on to sideboarding. And let's see, it seems like they have, I only saw 2 lands and a bat, right? But maybe that's reason enough to want the Harvester of Misery, I suppose. Honestly, the Grist has been kind of awkward in this deck. I'm not going to lie. It probably was not a good choice. It does not play well with Oath of Druids very much. It is cool that you can hit off of it, but the play pattern of Oath of Druids on 1, Grist on 3, or Oath of Druids on 2, Grist on 3 is an incredibly bad non-bow because you can't really uptick because then your opponent just gets a free creature. So, yeah. All right, anyway, we see an unkeepable hand, unfortunately. I'm going to have to mull this one. And this is, whoa, this is kind of interesting. There's a lot of hand attack, sort of. You can't even cast Hymn to Turok. I think we do better. Okay. I think I can keep this. I have to get a little lucky. Put back Emrakul. I could put back, honestly, I could just put back the Vaultborn Tyrant and we can just go off of, hand attack and eventually land a Shieldred, and that's like a fair strategy. Okay. Opponent goes turn 1, Ponder. Okay. I think I just go turn 1 Hymn to Turok and see what happens. I could very much disrupt my opponent's plan. Okay, they declined to shuffle, so they liked the cards. There's a Toxic Deluge. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we just go Hymn to Turok here. Just try to get a little bit of disruption. Okay, they discarded Lelian Island. So they're playing red as well. They're playing a lot of colors. Unfortunately, now we are in a rough spot because we don't have the mana to cast our spells. This doesn't even add red, which I guess isn't super important. The black is the more important thing here for sure. Okay, blue-black. This is Psychic Frog. Ooh, it's Psychic Frog. Okay, so it's bad, but if we draw a land, we can Toxic Deluge. It's going to probably be pretty painful because I really want to kill this frog. Okay, Psychic Frog coming in. We go to 19, they draw a card. Okay, really need that land. Woo, perfect draw. All right. Hopefully no counterspell. Okay, it doesn't look like they have it. They can discard 3 cards to the frog, so I have to do this for 5. Okay, nice. Okay, that was a good reset. And then now they're the best thing my opponent can do for me is play a do nothing artifact. Just one. Deep Cavern Bat. All right, fair enough. I wonder what they take. I don't have the mana for... Okay, they're just going to take Shieldred. That's fine. I don't even know what I want here. Oh, probably Oath of Druids. Oath of Druids would be a good draw. Oh, of course we draw the Swamp. That's frustrating. Okay. So... I don't think I need to bother with Oath of... or Pest Infestation for 1. That's not even a clock that beats my opponent with a 1/1 lifelinker. So I think I'd rather hold on to it. if I draw removal for the Deep Cavern Bat, then I can get my Sheoldred back. And then maybe Sheoldred can just take over the game. This one's a little rough. Okay, Celestial Colonnade. Celestial Colonnade not currently doing anything, but they just play another couple lands and including a white source, and I'm getting smacked for like 5 a turn. But for now, it's not that bad. Nethergoyf. That increases the clock. Okay, we need something big right now. Ooh, Baleful Strix as well. At least I can blow it up, in the very least. All right. Do this. And then kill the Baleful Strix. And bam. Get 4 little guys. All right. We're getting smacked with another Nethergoyf. I think we just have to do a chump block thing. Unfortunately, because we killed this artifact that put another card type, so this was a 4/5. But I've bought myself some time, and that's what's important. Multiversal Passage, new card. Oh, they chose Mountain. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Blue, black, red. Wheel of... Did they just Wheel of Fortune? Why did they do that? I mean, my hand sucks, but like, come on. What? Very weird. Okay, I mean, my hand's like not amazing, but it is pretty good. So we'll go Mox Diamond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 unique lands only. I guess we just get rid of this forest. Then I could slam the Harvester. That doesn't seem great. I could just like Mind Twist them and then set up for Deep Cavern Bat on the following turn. I think that seems pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this Field of the Dead's not going to be super great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think I just go Mind Twist for 6. Just get rid of their hand. And if they counter this, that kind of sucks. But I don't really want to play around anything here. Nice. Okay. Yeah. That was a really weird play. I mean, my opponent was absolutely in a great position. I guess I can attack for 2. I'll attack for 1, just in case they have a removal spell. I'm winning this game by like miles and not inches, I think. But I might as well get the free damage in. They need 2 removal to deal with my pests, so they're not going to do that. So I think we're fine. But anyway, my opponent absolutely did not need to do what they did with the Wheel of Fortune. Like their board presence was excellent, and they knew my hand. I was hellbent. They had a great board presence. Really strange play, honestly. But we are allowed to make choices in life. Reanimate Palace Jailer. Okay. So bye-bye Pest Token. I might just hardcast Harvester now. Okay. They're out of cards, though. They didn't attack. Also a weird choice. They just didn't want the... I'm so confused. Everything is very confusing right now, to be honest. Okay. So... I could get back Sheoldred now, I guess. I think that makes sense. Because I could like play Harvester of Misery full cost and then just, kill both of these. But I don't think I really need to do that. I think I'd rather just have Sheoldred on the table right away. Let's kill this Deep Cavern Bat. Hopefully they don't have a counter spell. Okay. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4 Sheoldred. Okay. And then we'll smooth out the next draw step. We see a Bayou that goes away. So now, I mean, we don't get the Monarchy back, but that's okay. We were never getting it back this turn. So now my opponent's Monarchy actively hurts them. And then we are a couple turns away from just like starting to get Field of the Dead value. That is a Crabomination, which is a little rough, but luckily my hand sucks. Nice. They did not take Field of the Dead. They got, what did they get? Generous End, Toxic Deluge, and a Zagoth Triumph, which are all reasonable for me, I think. This honestly could probably be... Oh, okay, they're just going to cast a Generous End, sure. I was thinking about the Toxic Deluge, and then they can kill everything except the Nethergoyf, but this is fine. I still have a good board presence. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, this Field of the Dead is not doing it. Okay, Nethergoyf coming in. I think I just block. I'm just going to continue to protect my life total. But now my opponent has like a bunch of big threats. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I get to gain even more life. They're losing life. Okay. Go to my turn. Draw. Cut down is fine, I guess. I'll gain 2. I really wish I could start making zombies now, but I only have 5 unique lands. This is the 6th. I can't play both on this turn. So I think we're going to go ahead and start with a cycle, just to try to draw something better. Infernal Grasp is a pretty nice draw. Okay, so now I can kill 2 of the things. I'll play this Field of the Dead, so now almost any land. No, literally any land, because I think there's only like, there's no more swamps or forests. So literally any land is good. And then also I have 2 removals. So yeah, I think this is not the best situation, but we should be okay. I have Cut Down and Infernal Grasp as answers for Palace Jailer and something else. They're continuously losing life. They can't activate their Celestial Colonnade. Oh boy, opponent's playing something big. Eagles of the North. You know, honestly, not good. That's not good for me. So they give a bunch of stuff, +1/+0, and gain first strike. Okay. Well, I kind of want my opponent to just I want my opponent to swing out here. If they swing out, we're not in a bad spot. Okay, they're just going to attack for 18. Wait, honestly? Wait, hold on a second. Aren't they dead? Wait a minute. We just do this. We block. We take 12. We go to 4. And then we're not dead. We're not dead if we cast the Infernal Grasp. I gain another life with the Pest guy. They could draw a card. They go to 7. Okay, they're not dead, but like, I guess I'll cast a Cut Down on this Palace Jailer always. All right, and then I think I'll still Infernal Grasp just to have more mana available. I mean, this is a little risky because we have a bunch of big creatures, but now I go to my turn. I'm going to draw like 2 cards. There's Through the Breach. Okay. Not quite what we were looking for. I will attack my opponent. I don't think there's really anything that gets me out of this one, but we'll see. Is there anything I want to do on end step? Okay, and I draw a creature? Nope, no creature. All right, well, I guess that is it. They go to 1. Oh, it was close. Very close. If they somehow draw a card accidentally, I guess we win, but that doesn't seem very likely. They also have a food. Okay, my opponent has found the line of attacking me. We will go to game 3. No problem. All right, they're playing a bunch of big guys. So, honestly, the Grist could maybe come back just as a nice way to, like, blow stuff up. Wings of Abandon as well could be a thing. I think I'll just leave it. I think we're okay. I have completely busted starts that I can have. All right. So this is a turn 3 generous end, but it doesn't actually seem that great. I think we can do better. Well, it has it has Through the Breach Emrakul, so I think we just keep this. We'll keep, I believe I put back the Nissa here. And then we'll play out this Bayou. And then the ultimate draw would be another black source, so I can him to Turok my opponent. Okay, big draw. Mind Twist. Yeah, this is the problem with like cards like Mind Twist, is if you don't draw your Broken Acceleration, then you're kind of just sitting there. Basically, our goal now is to get to 5 mana. That is how we get there. Okay, opponent play Baleful Strix. Land. Land would be cool. If we go land, I get Pest Infestation. Nice. Okay. That is good. We will just go ahead and Pest Infestation away this Baleful Strix. Get a couple of bodies. And we'll go from there. Now we can Mind Twist them for 2 potentially, which increases the likelihood that we'll be able to resolve this through the breach. We just gotta find lands, to be honest. Okay, what are they playing? Lelia. That's scary. Very scary, and I don't like it. Yeah. And the Lelia does outgrow my little pests. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this. Okay. I just need land. I need to go land. Okay, that's a land. I will make my opponent discard 3 cards at random. And then all I need to do is find another land off of the top, and we should be fine. Okay, they got rid of Reanimate, Smuggler's Copter, and a Psychic Frog. Those are good cards. All right, just land for the win. Honestly, that's basically what it is at this point. They're also at 18. What do we got? Ledger Shredder. Okay. Honestly, the more permanents they put on the battlefield... Ooh, Prof's Eidetic Memory. Yikes. Not a fan of that. Honestly, now, like, Through the Breach Emrakul is... The problem is this Lelia is going to, like, attack me, right? That's what the issue is. Like, they can just... This Lotus Petal is actually really annoying because it's just another permanent that they can sack. Or what do they hit? They hit a Memory Lapse. All right. I think I'll block. Okay. Land, please. Vaultborn Tyrant. Honestly, not a bad hit off of the Through the Breach as well. I will get rid of that last card in your hand. I think this might be the end, because now Through the Breach Emrakul doesn't actually like do anything is the problem. Oh, snap. I'm glad I did that. I do not want them snap reanimating. Okay. So now the question becomes, what am I putting in with this Through the Breach? And I think the answer might be the Vaultborn Tyrant and not Emrakul, unless they want to shock themselves. Hold on. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a second. This is how much damage for a 12? They're just going to attack me with everything. Okay. Hold on a second. So now the line and the Nethergoyf. They cannot cast Nethergoyf. Right? Okay. So we go to 9 plus 4 is 13. Okay, if we find land, we win the game. And if we don't find land, we lose the game. It would be epic. Come on. Untapped land. It just has to be untapped. Untapped land, let's go. Untapped land. No. Oh, that's unfortunate. And that's just going to do it. That'll be the game. Very unfortunate. Very close. Very close. All we needed was the untapped land. Yeah, it looks like it was. Oh, it's unfortunate. All right. So, didn't quite get there with only 1 and 2. A little unfortunate. There was, there were a couple of draws where we could have gotten there. In round 1, did not know my opponent was doing the whole Orcish Bowmasters and that kind of stuff. So I could have down-ticked the Grist to kill the Shieldred. And then in that last game, obviously, like, untapped land, we win. And then, you know. So here's the deck. Can I not move this around? That's, you can't even see the whole thing. All right, there we go. So very fun deck with the building around the Oath of Druids. Oath of Druids, of course, did some pretty disgusting stuff. We also had Channel Emrakul. We had Through the Breach, and we got some pretty sick wins. Not the best record that I would have hoped for, but honestly, this deck was a lot of fun, and I think, with the slightly higher variance, this is very, very powerful archetype. So, yeah, I think that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching.